The proceedings.
We are conducting a lot of awareness sessions. We conducted a world record event. 10,000 widows gathered on a single platform. How many of you know there is International Widows Day? We know that March 8 is Women's Day, right? Among women, widows are more deprived, discriminated. So to help them, United Nations declared June 23rd as an International Widows Day in 2011. So on that day, we conducted 10,000 widows gathering at Hyderabad LB Stadium, right? To give them a platform to voice out their concerns. And then next year we did in Vijayawada, 10,000 people. So this is a social movement. I request each one of you to think about this, right? It's not a project, it's a social movement. Creating awareness among your women group, among your youth, among your farmers, right? Teach them, right, about these things and then make them accept the widow in their family, in their society so that we can make a better society. And the tribal areas, we are providing solar-based water tanks in 100 villages. So like this, we have variety of water projects and then tank desiltation. We are the pioneer in the country to initiate community tank desiltation, providing free excavation missions, and the farmers bring their own tractors and transport the silt from the tank to the fields, right? And looking at our model, Telangana government initiated a big program called Mission Kakatiya. They renovated 35,000 tanks, and we renovated 800 tanks much before the government started working. In fact, KCR acknowledged in Assembly itself that Bala was an inspiration for Mission Kakatiya program. The tank desiltation is the one. And then we are renovating urban water bodies in Chennai, 10 water bodies in Chennai, and construction of farm ponds. This is not something new, but in the farm ponds we are cultivating fish. A farmer is making about 8 to 10,000 rupees revenue from a small pond of 200 spade yards.
In Telangana, we are very happy to be collaborated with Vikasa, KDTC and here in BBIC from a couple of years, taking the social entrepreneurship initiative further in strengthening the institutional capacity of individual as well as the non-profit organizations. It's all about, in my point of view, the social entrepreneurship is all about an individual's idea and innovative thinking and bringing funds or the resources from the market to address the social issue. So that's why we are here for we will be here for the next 2 days and looking for the wonderful learning and spirit of collaborations with all you learned people. Thank you so much. Thanks to you all.
Social entrepreneurship maybe to make sure that if the NGOs can sustain itself without taking the donation. And he even said that suppose the CSR is stopped, foreign donation is stopped, please think that this government will stop it also. Okay? Because the rule of the government is that no freebies, right? Okay, the government says that no freebies, which means that you may not even get any freebies. And government is also taking a lot of initiatives to make almost everybody self-sufficient. So the NGOs also has to become self-sufficient rather than looking for donations. And as he said that the moment the foreign donations have decreased with the restriction, a lot of NGOs are going into trouble. Why? Because our country still has not or started, at least don't have that culture of donations. Okay, people very, very unwillingly give their money. Whereas in Western countries, it's a culture. Because, okay, I know that because in many of the well-known universities, for example, you take US, like private universities like Princeton, MIT, these are all private universities. But they get huge amounts of donation from their alma mater or somebody else. Okay, somebody today they see that I have $500 million with me. So what I will do is that I will donate a part of that one. Because it is a culture there. In India, we have not started that culture yet. And I think that our mindset is in such a way that it is not going to happen for a long time also. Any general entrepreneurship, you have something, you take a patent, you will not give it to anybody else. Whereas NGOs don't have that limitation at all. You start something, you do give a patent and say that all other NGOs can use it. entrepreneurship becomes like a global, or at least in our country, this one is a national asset which you are going to develop. So that is another good point of this particular. I think that these are all the aims and ideas about the social entrepreneurship. Okay, because need not be localized. Anybody can find anything. Suppose they say that okay, they have found a way to reduce the expenses of drinking water, pure drinking water, and these entrepreneurships have to now go with paintings also, because you know that otherwise it will be all stolen by other multinational companies. Like our turmeric is already painted by some American company, right? so in that case, you are going to get that advantage that you are not limited, you are not tied up with one place. You can easily adapt to other places, and you know they don't have to give a huge sum to take your patent away. Okay, you have to donate it so that they can also adapt it in the same condition that they cannot sell it to other people, or they are going to use it for their own purpose for the NGO. And okay, it's very important. Okay, you cannot solve the problem, but it says we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them, which means that you have to incubate entrepreneurship, and you have to start do a startup. Thank you all. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay. To know more about startups.
Any startups or social startups?
Social startups.
Okay.
Livelihood startups.
How much more is more?
Livelihood startups.
What do you? How do you define more? Learning more. Because I will strike some of them off, which are not related to social entrepreneurship, but I am writing everything. Okay.
Educating students about social entrepreneurship.
Educating students about social enterprises. I think once you have all the idea, then I think someone can educate. Otherwise, this training itself or this today will not be able to cover specific strategies on students. So, but I write, and if we are lucky, we'll be able to find some examples. So we'll keep it as a question mark. Okay, and then turning into essays. I wish 100%, but that's a very outrageous wish. Again, that will depend on how each of you is placed, both at a personal level and within the organization, within the larger environment, and what kind of ideas you have, what kind of willingness you have to take the risk and move with the idea. Now, before we begin the presentation, I'll tell what we will cover in the next 2 days. So we will talk a little bit about, there is a reason why social entrepreneurship, or why we are talking about social entrepreneurship, because as an NGO, there are certain constraints that all of us go through in the NGO setting. So how do we overcome those constraints? And we all identify with that. So first, the idea would be to establish the need for social entrepreneurship. Why do we need? What are the different dimensions? Why do we need social entrepreneurship? The approach towards social entrepreneurship. Then we will look at certain models in India. So when we say models, we look at how people are doing, or how organizations are doing social entrepreneurship, and why we classify them as social entrepreneurs. Because there is no one single model. As I mentioned earlier, social entrepreneurship has a very wide definition. How many people know about Muhammad Yunus? the Bangladesh, Grameen, microfinance. So he defines social entrepreneurship. When I was growing up, sometime in 90s, late 90s, I was born and brought up with the mindset that if you don't study, you will not find a good job, and because you will not study, you will not find a good job, you will have to do some business. That was the mindset. Yeah. From that, now it's completely opposite. Now people are encouraged, students are, it's an in thing to be a startup, to be an entrepreneur. So whether that mindset change has happened in the NGO level or not, that is for all of us to answer. You see, you represent some NGO, I'm assuming. Has that mindset change happened in your NGO? Have you started to think about turning or encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation in your organization? If not, then this is the situation. If yes, then we should see some results, otherwise not. Who will pay for these services? 80% will probably not pay, and therefore, if you are not extending free services, then those 80% will be out. You will be left with these 20%. Or another way could be that somehow you expand this segment from 10,000, you somehow make it 20,000. Then you get 20% of 20,000, 4,000 people. This kind of model, entrepreneur support model, this is a social entrepreneurship in the way where the organization or the venture is supporting an entrepreneur which is going to impact the life. So here, for example, if you are setting up a social venture, the social venture directly is not going to create an impact. It's not directly, raising livelihoods or raising cows or opening grocery stores. No, they are supporting the entrepreneur who is doing it. They are supporting. So the social venture, for example, we are doing the social incubation. So we are actually supporting an entrepreneur or a startup who is going to create an impact. Correct? And we are doing it. So similar to the microfinance institutions, there are few organizations, for example, some initiatives of Tata Trust, some initiative of something called Swajal, some initiatives of an organization called Nandi. It's a big foundation on water. So what they do is they have created the filtration technologies, water filtration technologies, and then they promote these technologies by employing or by inviting people from the communities who can take those technologies, pay something to these organizations as a royalty or as a one-time fee, and then create own micro businesses. You're getting my point? So this is the model here. And all of the examples that we have shown, and there are more, these are some ones which are very easy to understand. And they all have the core or the intention or the motivation to create a positive impact. Either the miracle courier, so they are targeting, or they are, by their example, they are showing that even the most disadvantaged or marginalized people can make a dignified living, and they can also make money. The fact that Miracle Courier is going on, it's not a charity organization, so they are doing it in a sustainable way. Similarly, the organization that we spoke, that we saw, Desi Crew, so they are challenging the notion that the good jobs and service-oriented jobs can only be found in urban locations. They are doing it in rural areas. Yes, the company is incubated in IIT Madras, but their entire operations are in villages. There are few more videos, if you can go on the YouTube and see, there are few more videos which will tell you more about how they are able to do it. Which were the farmers. So farmers or the silk farmers would produce silk and the government would buy, and then government would sell it to external market. This is exactly DBT. Why? Because for every organization that you are seeing, this is the situation. To get 20 crores to the beneficiary, governments are paying 50 crores, 60 crores. Why? Because of inefficiency, because of corruption, because of so many things. Registered society वाला और NGO वाला कब कटिएगा law में इसके भी ठीक है अभी नहीं okay good.
The community is nothing but a social work. Community comes together. No funding involved, nothing involved. There is only exchange of services and products. So this is one way of doing it. And the second way, there is an external fund or external resources or external support has been taken and done with the project. So these are two ways, two models we would say. And within funding itself, there are multiple ways. Those are all called operational or like methods of doing it. So there are multiple methods of doing it. I'm going to finish this entire session raising this left hand. Can you all bear with me? How much time can you bear? Raise tolerance. How much time? Good way.
Good way ethics.
In other words, we trust more.
Hello everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to be associated with a wonderful program on social entrepreneurship organized by our partner Vishwa Yuvak Kendra, a 61-year-old organization, and Bala Vikasa Social Service Society, a 45-year-old organization. The mission of both the organizations to contribute towards the nation building by supporting the underprivileged, marginalized and deprived communities, by supporting their skill development, by supporting the sustainability initiatives and by empowering them to take charge of their own development agenda. As a part of our long partnership with VYK or Vishwa Yuvak Kendra, we are delivering a program on social entrepreneurship, especially for NGOs. As we know, NGOs, they have a very different funding model, which makes them completely dependent on external fundraise. Given the situation of India, and fortunately so, moving up the income levels, we are seeing less and less of international funding. We are also seeing a lot more internal and external developments which are putting pressure on these NGOs and therefore putting them at risk in terms of losing their existence altogether. Recent COVID pandemic has wiped off number of small and medium-sized NGOs, and the sole reason for their extinction was lack of alternate sources of funding. Therefore, as a part of our long-term strategy and a larger mandate, we are conducting national level training workshops for NGOs by promoting social entrepreneurship amongst the NGOs. In this 2-day session, which is happening at Bala Vikasa campus in Hyderabad, we are motivating, we are inspiring, and we are giving the right kind of tools and frameworks to participating NGOs on their transformation from solely fund dependent into more independent and sustainable social entrepreneurs. We hope jointly and in years forward, we will be able to make many more NGOs transform into viable and sustainable social enterprises, thereby creating much bigger and amplified impact without depending on external funds. I hope that our partnership with VYK continues and a lot more like-minded organizations and NGOs join us in this mission to take the nation building to the next level. Thank you.
Hello dear all, this is Vijender Mogli. I'm a program manager in Bala Vikasa CSRB team, Center for Social and Responsible Business. So very recently, we have conducted this social entrepreneurship workshop for NGOs, which is precisely already spoken about it. And then what we covered in these 2 days is like in the first day, we have given NGO to how to actually change or like change the internal management or the aspect of social entrepreneurship mindset required in the first day what we covered, and the second day we try to focus on the tool which they can actually later adopt and come back to us, which is basically a business model canvas with a relevance to social entrepreneurship and impact what we can create. So with the both the days session, we are expecting them, I mean, like it is always not easy to make sure everybody understands social entrepreneurship in 2 days. It's a very tedious and like it's a first step towards starting their NGOs towards social entrepreneurship. So how we are visualizing currently is with these 2 days inputs, they would think about this, they'll start their mindset, like they'll start their journeys, ideas. Currently in this like beside my hall, they are actually doing a group activity which is on BMC. They came up with the ideas and now they are filling all the BMC, all the 9 boxes. Now they would try with a trial and error basis, they will come up with this BMC, and with the same tool they will adopt later and they'll come up with their own BMC at a later stage. Each NGO has their own impact areas, their own communities to work with, and we have actually asked them to come up with an enterprise scalable product or service they can design. So at a later stage, after these 2 days of session, what we are expecting them to do is basically to work on BMCs, and we are expecting these NGOs will start their journey towards social enterprises. And then we expect these NGOs at a later part also, they would require more workshops on the similar lines. There is an idea assessment, there is like more intensive workshops can be done for social enterprises, and many more NGOs are really looking for this as a viable option for, as you all know, funding is a scarcity nowadays. So this is what we are expecting.
Apart from the important Thanks for watching. For more updates, please subscribe to our official YouTube channel and follow us here.